Good morning, Pertam, and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. In the last episode, we set ourselves out a basic plan for our starter base, and we also brought ourselves over the ship from the crash site, so now it's all kind of consolidated into one area. Now, in between episodes, I have let the build and repair system run its course, so as you can see, it's constructed a lot of the base so far. I've also set up this wind turbine array. Now, we will probably need to also set up some kind of solar array as well, just to kind of compensate for when there's no wind. But if we come over here, now, the build and repair system has been putting in some work here over at the base. Now, it's not completely finished, but the reason for that is if we come over here, we only have 14,000 iron left. Now, that'll probably be enough to finish this, because, I mean, in between videos, I was doing a couple of trips over to an iron deposit to pick up some more ores. But, yeah, let's actually check how many. Yeah, because we've only got, you can see it's just eating through those steel plates. So, we're gonna need a way to get more iron. So, I think today is gonna be the day that we build our first rover. And I'm thinking we build some kind of mining rover. In between episodes as well, I've also gone into the control panel and set most of the things into groups, just to kind of clean up a little bit in here. What we'll also do is we'll just turn off the build and repair for now. Actually, make things a lot easier. So in terms of a rover, I don't think we need too much to start off with. So let's kind of do what we normally do. Put down a landing gear, build a few out, and let's just have a think of what we want to do. Okay, so what I'm thinking is if we give it a wide base, and then probably add some wheels to that. What I might do is we're going to need a lot of cargo space, and we have a look here. Yeah, I think I might use these medium ones. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then do the same on this side, if it'll let me. Is that in line with that one? Yep. Okay. So yeah, so if we do 2, 3, 4, that should be good for storage. Now, I have never claimed to be, nor will ever claim to be, the greatest builder in Space Engineers. So, for now, we'll just kind of build this up, make it at least look somewhat decent, and go from there. Now, I was thinking to do the 2x2 wheels, but we're probably better off going with the 3x3. If I could find them. Okay, those are the long ones. Where are the short 3x3? Okay, so Unfortunately, at the minute, it's an even number of blocks, so I think we'll just have to kind of offset the back wheels and give it a bit more of a truck look. Let's just check those are lined up. No, they are not. I've put the two back wheels one block forward. Let's just rectify that quickly. That's left, these are right. What do you mean unable to place wheel? It's because I was stood. Is it because I was stood there? Come on, where is it? Now, let's have a think. What else are we going to need? Going to need a connector. Now, actually, you know what? I think for this connector, I'm going to use the inset connector. Stop resetting. So yeah, I can put the inset one there because it has the small grid connector, and I could just connect those to either side here, and that should work rather nicely. Oh, I'm running out of hydrogen. I haven't actually at this point set out anything on the base for us to refuel. Mostly because the medical station requires silver, which we have none. There is the new refill station, but that requires super components, which is gold. But again, just don't have any of. So what we'll probably look at doing is getting a little bit of silver to start off with, and then we can connect up with medical base straight away. Now, in terms of cockpit, what could we do? I mean, nah, the flash cockpit and the regular cockpit. Industrial cockpit would make sense. So with the cab cockpit. So you know what? I haven't used the cab cockpit yet. So how about we use that? Come on. Okay, I'm going to need to put a block or something here in the way so that I can attach it properly. Right, where did I leave the cockpits? There they are. Thinking what actually I should do is that cab has connectors on. Let's have a look. Yeah, so they. Oh, I don't want to reload. Yeah, so this cab cockpit has the two connectors on the bottom. It's kind of awkward, but not. Where does it have any other connectors anywhere? Okay, so it has a big connector on the bottom, but again, it's not really helpful. So we're also going to need a way to connect these up to the drills. So let's chuck those two on. And I really should grab some small conveyors. Where are they? There they are. Okay. And just connect them like that. And we should be okay. So, for the drills, we can... What I'm thinking is we could put a set there, and then put the cockpit in the middle here. But with the connectors being annoying as they are, might even make sense. Actually, no, because that's then going to be... I'm trying to think this through, but it doesn't really seem like there's going to be that good of a... Yeah. This is kind of annoying that there's not a good cockpit that I'd be able to connect up. Actually, you know what? What we can do... I've just had a brainwave. Lightning has just hit my brain. Okay, what we can do is if I add a T-junction in here, and then we can run it down and around, we should then be able to add that bit there, and that'll connect this whole thing up. Now, I should really probably do the same back here as well, now that I think about it. We do it this way, where I add one there and one there. We can sit a second one in the middle. And then that'll then just connect straight up to the connector. Where's the connector gone? There it is. Okay, I might need to redo the... I'll probably... Yeah, let's also get rid of the wheels, because I'm probably going to need to reposition these. So we'll get the body done, and then look at adding the wheels after. The other thing we're going to need is we're going to need some batteries, which I didn't really account for when I thought of the space. There's not enough space there, but there is enough space for some small batteries. So we could always just fill this midsection full of batteries. Now, I'll leave 4 spaces and put the gyros in as well. And that, honestly, that should be enough power, at least for a little while. And what we can do is, if I go into here, we also have these, don't do that, we also have these small grid solar panels. So I can just, once we've built up everything, I can just kind of stick a couple of these on top. Speaking of batteries, actually, I might be able to get away with putting just a couple of the large batteries here on the back. And I mean, that is pretty much everything we need on the internals, as far as I can tell. Now, I can't really put any armor there because the drills are in the way. Or can I? Because it just appears like I'm out of steel plates, and that's why I can't place them. Let's have a look. I can. So yeah, let's extend these out then. Okay, I can't put any blocks here. So what we'll do is... Where is it? There it is. We'll add that bit in. And then we can just kind of give it a nice transition from the flat up. Okay, so that is pretty much the basic shape. Now, it's a little blocky, but I mean, for a first mining ship, it'll be more than fine. What we'll also need, apparently, is need some construction components. Yeah, so if we have the solar panels, what I can do is I can line them up here, and we can have them just running across the top, just to help. If while we're out during the day, it should then help to supplement the power. What else we're probably going to need is we're going to need some spotlights. So if I get rid of these two bits here, we could either have the standard spotlights, or we could use these floodlights, which I think would be pretty cool. Why aren't you? There we go. And they should kind of mold nicely into the side. And I could even, if we want, put a couple on these sides as well. And if we're putting those there, I think would be an idea just to add a little bit of armor. We'll just leave them like that. If you have any suggestions for something you could use to kind of help mold them into the surface a bit better, very much appreciate it. I was thinking of putting some of the 5x5 wheels in, but they kind of jut out a bit too much. However, I have a plan. Now, again, this is kind of a mining rover, so it doesn't actually need all this armor. That's honestly more for aesthetics than anything. So if we kind of inset them one block, yeah, that'll be a lot better. And with 3 large wheels, it should be more than stable and strong enough to hold the ship up when we're full of cargo. So really, that is this pretty much done. So what we should be able to do, we turn that on now and immediately get blinded by everything. Looks like everything's getting welded up there. I mean, at the very least, it's done the wheels, and I can see it's done all the cargo containers. And, I mean, the cockpit's done, so what we'll be able to do is, if we come in here, we can kind of see all the blocks that are done and the ones that aren't. And what we'll do is we'll just cover this little bit up with the armor panels. Yeah, I mean, by the looks of it, that's kind of just gone through and done everything first time. Now, not gonna lie, I mean, around like the sides, it's a bit blocky, but the rest of it doesn't look half bad. What I am forgetting is we're going to need an ore detector. That would kind of be helpful if, you know, we need to find ores. I think for now, that is all sorted. If you do have any suggestions on how we could improve it, maybe even make a Mark II with some of your improvements, pop a comment down below. But I mean, for now, let's just have a look. Okay, so it can definitely clear the base entrance. But I think first things first, we're going to need some of this iron. So with these drills on the ship, these are just the small grid version of the drills that we use to kind of drill out the space for our starter base. But what I personally like about these drills is, as you can see, it comes with stone turned off. So say if I wanted to drill up some iron now, what this will do, as you can see, it'll detect, I've set the area to where the stone is, and I can just turn the drills on now, and it'll drill that area, and it won't actually pick up any of the stone. Now, they are a little slow, like, just to kind of slightly balance it out, they do use, we go here, yeah, they do use like a good bit of power, and they're not the fastest when it comes to collecting materials, but I just find them a lot easier to use than the standard kind of base game drills. And as you can see, we're already loading up on a load of stone straight away. So once it's full, the drills themselves will stop, they won't drill anymore. So, there we go. So yeah, like that. And what we'll do is we'll just turn the drills back off. And what we'll do while I do this is I'll just add these to a group, and then what we can do is we can add them to the hotbar. What we'll actually need to do is, as I said in a previous episode, we haven't set up any of the conveyor systems for the rovers just yet, because I wanted to actually design the rovers before we put the conveyor systems in. So what I can do now is actually, let's park this up in one of the corners. I might have it where I have 2 rovers on this side, and then maybe a larger kind of mobile base rover on the left hand side. So if we just kind of arc ourselves up. Yeah, what we can do is if we add some half blocks as a kind of ramp system, and then that should be fine to just connect up to the connector if we put it a block higher. Now, the other thing I'm going to need is, we have cobalt now, so I should be able to upgrade my tools to the next tier. We'll put T-junction there just so if/when we put in another rover, we can just run the connection that way rather than having to get rid of, instead of having to get rid of the corner and disconnecting that other rover, we can just go straight into. If we chuck that conveyor system in, that should be fine. If we're going to put in the ramp, what I'll do is we will run this conveyor system a little bit further this way, just to kind of future-proof it. And then when we come in next time, well, when we're building the next rover, we can just connect it up straight away rather than having to grind out a bunch of stuff. Now, if I put a full block in, we're going to block off that staircase that I put in. Yeah, if we put in that it's half of a half, quarter slab, that should be fine, he says, hopefully. So let's have a look. Ooh. No, this is not working. And now the rover's stuck. Okay, so this idea is not going to work. It's fine. I have a backup plan. What we'll have to do instead is probably put in the connector there. And we'll just have to reduce the height offset on the wheels and drop it down onto the connector, which hopefully should work. So that's the connector finished. If we just drop it down, and you can see in the bottom we've got a proximity to the connector now. So we can connect that up, and that should pull all of that ore. Now, if we check, our refineries should start running. And by the sound of it, they are going. Yeah. That's why the refineries had like a little door or something you could click on. Maybe that's just the assemblers. But yeah. So yeah, so we've got 18k iron in here now. And there we go, our iron's already back up to 27. Awesome. Yeah, so if we have a look, we're back up now to 68,000 iron. So that should be more than enough for the steel plates that we need for the back section there. So let's just, for now, queue up a bunch of those. Now, last thing I want to do today is if we go to LCD, we are going to need a wide LCD panel. And if we grab some interior plates, we can now come up here to the control room. What we're going to do with this LCD is oh, those batteries are in the wrong orientation. That's annoying. Because that's, yeah, 80 power cells each. Yep, that way. Okay. So what we're going to do is with this LCD, we find it here. First off, we need to adjust the rotation. So it is right way up. And what we're going to do is we will rename it to Auto Crafting 1. And give it a second. Aha! Okay, so I fixed it. Basically, I had been a slight idiot and I put a capital C in autocrafting, so it wasn't recognizing it. But what we can do now is we can now set the amount of everything we want to be autocrafted on the base. So for now, I am just going to set pretty much everything to 100. So now if I jump down here, we can go back into our components and you'll see we've got 100 of pretty much everything now. Now I have the stuff in my inventory, so I'll just add that back in and it will just deconstruct that. Yeah, and that's even finished constructing the backside now. Yeah, backside. So what we can do is if we try We close up the door now. We should see. You're depressurized. Why? Show me a leak. Oh, it's these. What I can do is, just in between episodes, I'll just go in and add some steel plates underneath all of these. And just make sure this whole place can be pressurized. This does kind of feel like a good place to stop. So what I might do just in between episodes is go collect maybe a few more resources, just so we're topped up on everything. So if you have any naming suggestions or colour suggestions for our little drill rover, be sure to leave them down below and let me know. Or if you have any ideas for ways we could decorate the base or something we need to add to the base, again, let me know down below. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, do consider leaving a like, as that'd be greatly appreciated. Do subscribe, as then you can get up to date on all the episodes as soon as they come out. But with that, I've been Ben, this is Delirious Gaming, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye. I'm stuck. Yeah. Wait, the drills had a terrain clearing mode this whole time?